The double declining balance method is another depreciation method that is used, and this method is an accelerated depreciation method that pretty much takes more depreciation in earlier years than using the straight line depreciation method. Okay, so there are a few things that you need to do before being able to calculate what the depreciation expense is going to be. And the first thing you need to do is, if I can, there we go. You need to figure out what the straight line rate is. Okay, the straight line rate will be a percentage. Then number two, you're going to figure out what the double declining balance rate is going to be. That's also going to be a percentage. And then from there, you can figure out what the depreciation expense is going to be. Okay, so let me go back up here at the top. So straight line rate. So the straight line rate is taken, or is determined by taking 100%. Okay, 100% is the straight line rate, or the straight line percentage. And we're going to divide it by the useful life of the equipment here, which is 15 years. Okay, that 15 years is coming from right here in this scenario. All right, so 100% divided by 15 years, that's going to give us a percentage of 6.667. All right, and that's our straight line rate. Now we're going to go down to step 2 to figure out what our double declining balance rate is going to be. And that's us taking the 6.667%, and we're just going to simply multiply it by 2, because this is us multiplying the rate. Just because it's under this method, you're going to take more depreciation expense than the straight line method. And this is going to be 13.33%. Or if you want to round it to the nearest whole percentage, that's 13%. Okay. Either or. All right, but we could take the 13.33%. Okay. So when it comes to the depreciation expense now, because you can see here, I have it done already where the percentage per year that needs to be applied to the cost of the equipment, in this case, will be 13%. Now we're going to have to now take this percentage of 13.33%, and we're going to multiply it by the cost of the equipment. Okay, so even though it has a salvage value of $10,000, we are going to apply this percentage to the cost. Oops, there we go. To the cost of the equipment. Not the depreciable cost, but pretty much this is considered the depreciable cost under this method. So we're going to take this percentage using this method. All right, so what is it? 96,000. We're going to multiply by 96,000. So that's going to give us a depreciation expense of $12,797. Okay, so this is the depreciation for the first year. And as you can see here at the chart, we see here that year one, it costs us $96,000. The depreciation declining rate is 13%, which was calculated up here. So it is rounded, so it does include that 13.33%. Yep, so it includes it. I know you all can't see it. And so from there, the depreciation expense is going to be calculated by taking the 96,000 multiplied by 13%. That's what gives us 12,797. So in the previous video, under the straight line method, if you can remember, the depreciation expense was $5,733. So that right there tells you that, well, under this rate, you are recording more depreciation expense under this method than the straight line method. Okay. So the accumulated depreciation is going to be this same amount here, because this is for the first year of $12,797. And then the ending book value is going to take the cost, which is 96,000, and it's going to subtract out the 12,797. Okay. And that's when you're going to get 83,203. Okay. Now this book value here is going to be moved down or carried over into the second year. So $83,203 multiplied by 13%, double declining rate, that gives us a depreciation expense of $11,091. Now, if we can go back up here, because I kind of jumped ahead, it says on here in the second portion of this problem, it says determine the equipment's second year depreciation expense and the book value of the equipment at year end using the double declining balance method. Okay, so here's the second year expense. It is a little bit lower than year one, but that's correct because as the year progresses or goes forward, you're going to be taking less and less depreciation expense. But at the beginning of the years, earlier years, you're actually going to be taking more depreciation expense than under the straight line method. So this is correct. So $11,091 is the depreciation expense for year two. And accumulated depreciation is going to take the accumulated depreciation from year one and add it the depreciation expense from year two, and that's where you're going to get your $23,888. And then pretty much take the year end book value, which is $72,112. And that's pretty much taking, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can do the 96,000 and then subtract out, let's see, $23,888, which is the accumulated, there we go, which is the accumulated depreciation here as of year two. That's going to give you $72,112. Or you can take the $83,203, which is the book value for the second year, the beginning of the second year, which is right here. And then you can subtract out here, didn't mean to circle it to where you can't see it, the $11,091. Okay. That should also give you $72,112. Okay. And that's it for the double declining balance method.